there's an old definition of a gentleman as a man who's never rude by accident. And it's very important that incivility be a spice and not a substrate or a main course. So once in a blue moon, it's perfectly reasonable to eviscerate someone when they are behaving badly, and it's in fact necessary for civility to forcibly let people know that you're quite unhappy. I think that the bigger issue here has to do with something that, like, what really can't we talk about? If you think about what happened in medicine, we had this concept of iatrogenic outcomes, where the harm was done by the hospital, the healer, the nurse, the medicine. And there was a tremendous amount of harm done by people in the healing professions. And this was very confusing. It's sort of it's a kind of societal autoimmune disease. You want medicine, you want hospitals, you want healers, and in fact they were doing a tremendous amount of harm, and it was very difficult to talk to your priestly class and say, wow, you guys are totally out of control and you're killing people like crazy. What is making this so difficult is what I would call journogenic effects. That is, everything that we do passes through this kind of sense-making apparatus. And the sense-making apparatus is suffering from some kind of crazy autoimmune disease where we absolutely need journalism. I mean, make no mistake about it. We need journalists, we need journalism, and what we have is crowding out the journalism that we need. So it's very confusing, right? Because at some level you hear somebody like President Trump saying, the press is the enemy. And in some weird way he's right, and in some weird way he's terribly wrong. So, if you take Maajid's situation, it's only confusing to Maajid because he hasn't studied quantum mechanics deeply enough to realize that he's Schrodinger's Muslim.
I told you he was the maths nerd of the Marvel group.
And, poor Douglas didn't understand that he needed magic chocolates of color, and then everything would be fine. We're in some situation where we're trying to figure out what can we say so that we do not find ourselves tomorrow hating our own existence because we've wound up in some previously respectable paper or news program completely misportrayed. So let me just ask you, how many people here, like I'm sitting on the far right of this panel, how many people here are on the far right? Okay. How many people here are the alt-right? Okay. Tomorrow, there's going to be a paper that says, if anybody covers this at all, a collection of 6 intellectuals was assembled on stage as a gateway drug to the alt-right. Popular with the alt-right. And it'll go on, alt-right, alt-right, alt-right. Now, by perseverating, by just repeating something over and over again, like, are there any women in the audience tonight? Okay, technically you don't exist. I'm sorry to say it. Because you're all frustrated white male incels. You don't know this, but it will happen, right? And, we had our friend Jordan Peterson talking to Nellie Bowles of the New York Times, who preceded the esteemed Sarah Jung into this august paper of record. And he, of course, used the phrase enforced monogamy. So what was he going to do with enforced monogamy? He was going to redistribute hot females to incapable males to solve the problem of potentially dangerous mass murderers in Canada. Now, I say this sort of jokingly, but it's really not a joke. I mean, these people are absolutely insane, right? It's complete insanity, and it's insanity in the heart of our sense-making apparatus.